directly from Sardinia.
Ciao. Thank you.
Okay, so I think the movie was a success. People liked it. It was a sold-out evening, yes. And che succede? Niente. Okay. The more I watch this movie, the more I find so many different layers. There's absolutely everything from from a comedy to a tragedy to a parody to a satire. There's a religious dimension, the role of women. It's just so, I really enjoyed it. So, and I'm particularly intrigued by the. Mi capisci? Mi capisci?
Sì, yes, I do.
Okay. I'm particularly intrigued by, the opening line from Camus, where you've learned everything he knows in life he's learned from soccer. So my first question to you is, do you play soccer?
No, I played when I was a kid, but I wasn't that good. But and I'm not very interested in soccer. I am very interested in literature about soccer, in soccer stories. And there's an author that I don't think he's translated in English. His name is Osvaldo Soriano from Argentina, and he's the main inspiration as a soccer storyteller, story writer. The Camus quotation is wrong. The real Camus quotation should be everything I know about morality and people's legacy. I don't if tutto quello che so della morale e dei legami tra gli uomini I owe it to soccer.
So everything I know about morality and about the liaisons between people, the way people interact with each other, I have learned from soccer.
Okay, but my distributor thought that it was too philosophical, too complicated for a comedy, so we changed it, we simplified it.
I'm sure Camus appreciate that.
I read some very bad things about that, but it wasn't my choice. They decided it. I accepted it.
Okay. So I'm just the inspiration of the movie was this story about soccer, and then how did it develop? Because I know this was originally a short, and then it developed into a long feature film. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Many years ago, I read when I was a student. I read that Samuel Beckett's favorite sentence is a sentence from Sant'Agostino, and it's about the two ladrones. Do not despair, one of the two thieves was saved. Do not presume, one of the two thieves was damned. Okay? Mm-hmm. When I read that this sentence was Samuel Beckett's favorite sentence, I decided to write a short story about two thieves. And the first thief was a young shepherd in the countryside, stealing a lamb. Mm-hmm. The second thief was a referee. Okay, so the first idea came from this sentence from Sant'Agostino that I read Samuel Beckett appreciated. Mm-hmm. The short story was about the shepherd and the referee. Then the short film was very successful. We won many prizes all around the world. Yep. We decided to develop it, and in the feature film we have more stories. But the sentence is still in the feature film, because the president of the referees says that. So the main inspiration comes from Sant'Agostino and the reading of this Osvaldo Soriano, Argentinian novelist about soccer.
Okay, I've got some other questions, but before I ask them, maybe somebody will wants to ask from the public. Yes, please, wait. Can you see them?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Do you prefer that I speak Italian? Do you understand me with my English?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I think I may say that his English is very good. May I say that? Yes, yes, yes.
Last night, Hamlet was streamed from London, and there was the reference in Hamlet to playing the pipe, exactly as you had here. It was exactly the piece from Hamlet.
Yes, yes. There's a quotation from Hamlet. Because when I was reading about Beckett's favorite sentence, and I was reading, the Beckett dramas, I read Tom Stopper. The Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, are dead. So I thought that I wanted to do something like Tom Stopper. It was, just cheating a little bit Tom Stopper. Yeah, he's a playwright that I really love, and a film director that I really love. So that's why.
Thank you. Okay, fantastic.
Yes, yes.
May I be cheeky and ask two questions?
Yes.
Okay, question number one. The sort of moral journey of the referee is really interesting to watch. It's really tragic when he's shown to be tainted when it wasn't his fault. That's how I read it anyway. He's confused by his situation, and he ends up with the money floating all around him, and that's how he gets to be at our match when we didn't expect it. But what confused me was the last bit, when he was riding on the shoulders of the happy crowd, and he'd let his hair down. Why did you decide to do that? It was fascinating, it was wonderful, but why?
Okay, I try to follow the metaphor of the referee like Jesus Christ. That's why I put so many religious symbology.
Yes.
Okay, I thought that the referee is like Christ because at the same time he's the one paying for everything, because the referee, especially in Italy and in soccer countries like Italy, is always responsible for everything. He's the, how do you say, capro espiatorio, the
Scapegoat.
the scapegoat, and at the same time he's the one who pays for everybody, like Christ. At the same time, he's the one who decides for everybody, and he has the absolute power. He has the guidelines, but he has the absolute power to decide who is the winner, who is the loser, and just like God. So I try to follow, to perseguire this metaphor between Christ and the figure of the referee. So you see the referee as a penitent. You see the referee as a saver of the match, for example. And at the end, you have the referee as a saint, because he's like a saint in a religious celebration. So this is the percorso of the metaphor of the referee. This was the main idea.
That makes a lot of sense. Second question for you. A bit like God, then, the referee gets top billing, but it seems as though, as in real life, the real story is the story of the village and all the people in it. Well, that's how I read it anyway. And it's the characters are wonderful. You're totally taken in. The one thing that perplexed me was you've got this tremendously charming Matsutsi, and everyone loves him. Why is he supposed to be a bit dull? Why is he supposed to be a bit, stupid? What's that about? Or have I read that wrong?
I need a translation, I'm sorry. Why is he supposed to be?
Stupido, cioè non particolarmente intelligente. Tutti lo amano, ma non viene, cioè è un po' tonto.
I was just curious.
Lei non capisce.
Yeah, because he represents the Platonic idea of a soccer player.
Oh.
They are very stupid.
Well, that's an answer. Debatable, but an answer. Thank you very much.
Any more questions from the public? Don't be shy. Yes?
Yeah. Why was it shot in black and white?
Why was it shot in black and white?
The main reason is that I didn't want to give a representation of the real Sardinia, especially how you have this concern. I didn't want to represent Sardinia, where I come from, in a realistic way. I wanted to be as abstract as I could, because the film doesn't. It's not located in a precise time. It's kind of timeless, and because we are not in the 80s, not in the 60s, it's like a fairy tale. So the black and white gives you a very strong opportunity to abstract yourself from reality. And I didn't want to be, to give a social or realistic representation about Sardinia, and I didn't want to give a realistic representation of themes like corruption in soccer. So black and white, okay, the answer is because of abstraction. I wanted to achieve abstraction. And black and white is very powerful if you look for abstraction.
Thinking about that, you don't want to portray Sardinia in a real way. But a thing that struck me today, and I hadn't noticed before, is the role of women. I don't know if you know, but Sardinia is a matriarchal society, and you can see that from the old lady. Giving her opinion, and that she's really a powerful figure there, and more so than the young woman, is that I suppose that is intentional, because I'm Sardinian, and I suppose that that's intentional.
Okay. First, I wrote the film with a lady. And Barbara Alberti is her name. She comes from the from the '68 movement, from the feminine '68 movement. She's like she's like 75 or something like that. And first I told her I want to write a film and to do a film without women, just a male film about soccer. She said, fine, I agree, but do it yourself, without me. So she was very firm, how do you say, she was very, strong about that. And she convinced me, and I said, okay, let's put a woman and maybe a love story in the film, but she has to be different, she has to be bizarre and a strong character. I don't want to have a banal love story, because nothing has to be banal in this film. So we decided to call Pucciari, the actress, and I have to say that she's an actress, but she was also in a very strong way an author of her character, because she's a comedian, she's a writer too, and she created her character together with Barbara especially. So Miranda, she's a creation, she's a monster that came out from the meetings between Barbara, the writer, and the actress, because I know that they started to meet secretly together to write lines, and so they wrote that character. 90% it's their work. I admit.
So you want us to see Sardinia as the magic island, and Prospero and Miranda and all that. That's obviously very intentional.
Could you repeat, please?
Well, the Tempest references make Sardinia the magic island, right? The references.
I riferimenti a Prospero e Miranda fanno quindi all'isola, alla tempesta di Shakespeare, fanno della Sardegna l'isola magica, e questo è il
Yes. Okay, the Prospero, and the Tempest quotation, it basically is because Prospero, like the coach, like Shakespeare's Prospero, is capable to transform reality, like through words. When he makes his speech saying, if we did that, we won. I don't know how to say it in English, but he claims they won with words. Like in a way, he becomes a magician like Prospero, changing reality. And that's why I wanted to end the film with another magic scene, like he scores a goal, but with an imaginary ball, with an unreal ball, because that's like the power of fantasy, the power of and it's the magic of cinema, not really of Sardinia, it's the magic of cinema, the magic of art. And in the case of Prospero, the magic of words. That's the main idea.
The magic of words. Yeah, magic. Yes, please.
From the writing point of view, how different was the final script to your early drafts, if different at all?
The question is if I changed many things from the final draft.
Yes, compared to your initial draft and your early drafts.
No, I think 80% is the way we wrote it. I tell you a funny story now. I did a lot of work. Like I spent weeks editing the film on paper, because we have 4 stories, like the love story, the referee story, the soccer story, and they are all mixed together. And I spent weeks working, on the balance between these different lines, and on the editing on paper. And I had red color for the referee storyline, green color for the love story, and yellow color for the shepherds, and so on. And every time I was sending emails to Barbara Alberti, my co-writer, and having communication through email and through the phone. After a couple of months, I went to Rome to talk with her, and I realized that she didn't read the script on the computer, but she printed everything in black and white. So she had any idea how to follow.
Thank you.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, sure.
I saw also a lot of references to Italian directors like Fellini. Fellini, for example, the scene of Amarcord when Ciccio Ingrassia is on the tree and he gets rescued by the nun. And also the end of the film is a bit of a reference to Blow Up of Antonioni. Is it and a lot of Sergio Leone, of course, and is it?
Okay, I really want to thank you very much. Thank you very much for noticing, for seeing the Antonioni quotation. I presented the film, all over the world. You are the second person who tells me this. The first one was.
I chose the film, so.
Thank you very much. The first one was a young guy in South Korea. I think the reason is that nobody knows anymore Antonioni. Nobody watches Antonioni anymore, unfortunately. But yes, there's a quotation from Blow Up, because I think the 2 clowns playing tennis are representing the same idea of imagination winning over reality. And of course, Fellini, Voglio una donna is a quotation, and Sergio Leone too. you know, when you do your first feature film, you try to put everything you love. I think I exaggerated a little bit, but maybe I will do it again.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for an absolutely superb film. I have a very straightforward question. We've seen possibly the last but one, just before the blind coach scores the goal, we see the body of the dead young, the sheep stealer, we might say, in the side of the field. Can you say something about that? Because that left me a little perplexed.
I'm sorry, I have some problem with sound. Could you say that again in Italian?
Te lo dico io, velocissimamente. Allora, il Signore chiede che è rimasto perplesso dalla penultima scena, quando si vede appunto il corpo di Pietro, il cugino che è lì, insomma, lì morto, e lui è rimasto un po' perplesso da questa scena e vuole sapere qualcosa di più.
Okay, most people are very perplexed, how do you say?
Perplexed.
Most people are much more perplexed about dogs, usually. But that makes you, you know, it's nice that you are perplexed for a human. So, but you know, he's, you know, one of the thieves was saved, one of the thieves was dead. Pietro is the thief who is dead. He's the one who is punished because somebody has to be punished. My producer was very, very contrario. He didn't want to put that scene in the film, but I insisted. I wanted to counterbalance comedy with something strong and tragic. That was my intention, and pestato I piedi, I don't know how to say. I was very strong about that. Not to give up tragedy.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
I have a
Yes.
question. Well, first of all, thank you, because it was a really amazing film. My question is about the actors. I mean, apart from the main actors, but the rest, they really were the people of that village. I mean, how you find all these people? Because there are so many people, and so just a question: how you find them? How you selected them?
Okay, some of the actors are non-professional actors. Some of them are non-professional actors, but with big experience. For example, the coach, Prospero, he's okay. He's a professional actor, but he comes from the square comedy. He goes in the villages and is very popular in Sardinia. He's a comedian, and he goes in every village to make his sketches, his lines, since many years.
On television too, he's very well known.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was saying he's very well known also on television. He does ads. He's very well known in Sardinia. Everybody knows him.
Yes, but you know, he comes from really the square, not even theaters, because he's a square comedian. So it was very hard to work with him, like to keep him under control. Some other actor was a complete non-professional. Many of them come from the and some other one, for example, the killer shepherd, the shepherd who kills Pietro, the bald guy. He's a, how do you say, a mime. He's a professional mime.
Yeah.
Mimo. So he's a very strong. He's very good in controlling his body, and it was very nice to work with him because I could tell him, please, I want your eyebrow 2 centimeters like that, 1 centimeter like this, and he was like Pongo. How do you call Pongo?
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
Yeah, it was like working with Play-Doh, working with him. I had so many different actors and so many ways to relate myself with them. For example, the antagonist, the bad guy, Brai, how do you say, the antagonista?
The antagonist, the leader of
Yeah.
of the Monte Cristo.
Yeah, he comes from, the Stanislavski methodology. So when I told him, like, put your hand in your pocket, he answered me, I need to find a motivation. I need to know about the relationship between me and my father. And I told him, and I tell him, put your hand in the pocket. But I confess that he taught me a lot of things. It was very hard to work with him because he always wanted to interiorize everything, even things that I didn't think they were, to interiorize. But it taught me I learned a lot from him, and it was very, I think I grew up professionally a lot, dealing with so many different kind of actors. From the super professional star like Stefano Corsi, he's like the American actors. He's very prepared. He never misses a line. He's like a soldier. And then I had to work with the drunkard. So it's many different relations.
Any more questions? No? Okay, so how's the weather in Sardinia? Tell us it's sunny.
No, it's raining.
Okay, there you go. Okay, then please could you join me in thanking Paolo for his wonderful movie.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Paolo. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.